explore the depths of holistic health, uncovering the interconnectedness of our emotions, mind, body, and spirit. This podcast is dedicated to individuals who are on a quest to uncover their truth, understanding their genetic and spiritual DNA, and learn how to harness this knowledge to achieve optimal health. But this isn't just another health podcast. Natural Podcast is here to ignite a spark of hope within you, reminding you of your innate potential of greatness. You are pure love, capable of living life to your fullest expression. Are you ready to embark on a transformational journey to achieve optimal health? In today's episode, we have Deborah Tyson. Is a visionary leader in a global well-being and CEO and founder of Bliss Spot, a platform dedicated to fostering personal growth and prosperity. With over 30 years of entrepreneurial experience, Deborah combines her expertise in kinesiology, psychology, and counseling to drive positive transformations for individuals and teams. Bliss Spot focuses on key areas like resilience, emotional mastery, mindfulness, and energy optimization to empower personal growth. Deborah is also a passionate advocate for preventing burnout and empowering women, sharing her insight as a keynote speaker at global events. Her mission is to equip people and organizations with tools to thrive in today's fast-paced world. Deborah's leadership is marked by innovation and empathy, making her a trusted voice in wellness. As a podcast guest and author, she shares practical techniques for emotional resilience, mental health, and balanced living inspired by others to unlock their inner strength and joy. A few things that Deborah loves doing is yoga, swimming on the beach, reading. She also joined a walking meditation group. Welcome to the Natural Health Podcast, Deborah.
Thank you, Mihaela. It's just absolutely delightful to be here.
Tell me a little bit about this walking meditation group. I know what walking is, and meditation. Usually you have your eyes closed when you're meditating. What's this walking meditation?
It was something, they're all over the world, I believe. It was initiated by Dr. Joe Dispenza, and so people that have studied his work or done his work or just want to do the walking meditation meet, and we meet down here in Sydney on a beautiful beach at 6 a.m. So it's before the sunrise, and you do the meditation all together at the same time, the same meditation, and it's just such a beautiful experience. And that you walk, you stand initially, and then you open your eyes and do the walking part, and then you stop. They go for quite a long time, at least an hour. Yeah, but it's a great way to start the week.
Yeah, it sounds like a beautiful way to start the week, the day, the morning, just to get in the zone. I love that.
Exactly.
Tell me a little bit about your pets. I know that we've mentioned that you have a cat and dog. I mean, life is just so much better with them, right?
They are.
I'm not saying for you to choose if a cat or dog is better, but aren't we saying dogs are better? No.
Well, I have to say I'm like a parent. I just cannot choose. They're both
I love that.
so beautiful, and they're both about the same size, and often they sit one on each side, pressed hard against me. They're just so beautiful, that. My pets. Yeah.
That's beautiful, the same size. That's amazing. I mean, if I was going to get a cat the size of my dog, it would definitely be like a lion or something.
From what you've said, for sure.
Yeah. Look, Deborah, I'm excited to have you on Natural Health Podcast today. Before we get into the flow of things, how about we get a little bit of a history about who you are, where you've come from, and what got you to where you are right here?
Well, I started my journey. I was brought up in the country, which I loved, being in the beautiful, on a farm. So I love being with nature. I guess in those days you're communing with nature, but you don't even realize you're doing it. So natural. But I also I love the city. I spent a lot of my holidays in the city down at Manly on the beach there too. So that was wonderful. But when I was 24, I started my own business. So I've been a pretty passionate entrepreneur my whole life. And that was a design business with offices in Sydney and Canberra. And what was really inspiring to me on that journey was personal growth. Initially, I was struggling with the business. It was really hard, and I didn't know anything about HR or cash flow or anything. I had to learn everything as I went. But it was a wonderful, very challenging, but also a wonderful voyage of discovery. And I think business is very good for your personal growth because you have to expand usually to meet the challenges. So I was on my journey, and it was discovering that if I was stuck with something, which is the essence of what we do with Blisspot, if we're stuck in our life, usually we've done the best we can with the skills that we innately have. And I learned by reading a book or going to a seminar or asking somebody who's an expert in that particular area, I could move through that area and start to flow again. And I love that. So that was I was on the path. I used to be, I still am very devoted to personal growth. And I used to bring the concepts back to my team and share with them so that we'd all grow together. And we became an award-winning business. And I do believe that corporate culture and personal growth techniques really help to underpin that. And then that was a design business. We used to do a lot of corporate design and interior design, those kinds of things. And then with my second business, it was a healthy fast food business. And it was like McDonald's, only healthy. And my goal was to franchise it. But at the time, I had two small children, and I was also really going a lot deeper on my own personal journey. I'd had a spiritual awakening. I don't know, just had some incredible things happen to me. I went to Peru on a beautiful journey with Wayne Dyer and his family and some other people who were on the tour. And those things were really, really inspiring to me, and they made a huge impact on my life. And nothing ever changed from this idea of learning things when you're stuck and then sharing them with people, because people would be stuck too and they'd want to know, or they'd want to know how you got through something or how you grew and evolved. So I love that process. And with my healthy fast food business, even though I loved it, I went to a seminar and they said, well, do you like products, like things, or do you like philosophies and ideas? And for me, it was just a no-brainer. I was like, oh my gosh, I love ideas and I love sharing ideas. I love learning about new things. That was really at the core of what I enjoyed to do the most. So I decided to sell that business, and that was a successful business. We'd won some awards, and we had a lot of fun with it on that journey. But I felt that it was my time to really, I was really aligned with that concept that if you do what you really, really love for work, it's not work, it's like play. It's like, if there's a saying, if you do what you love, you never have to work another day in your life, something like that. So that was very inspiring to me. Although I was lucky, because with my previous two businesses, I loved them. But I think it was just becoming more and more aligned with what I really love to do. So I decided to start up Bliss Spot, but I thought it was much bigger than just me and my ideas. I would teach people mainly about emotional mastery. That's where I'd got the biggest shifts myself, centered around conflict management, being aware of your thoughts, how they impact your feelings and how that impacts your behaviors. And we can do that either unconsciously, which often doesn't work out that well, or we can start to be really conscious around that. So that's the work that I still share with people to this day. But I thought, to have a community to make a really positive impact with people's mental and emotional health, which is an area that people greatly struggle with, and there's big shifts happening in this area, I felt it was more than just me. We needed a community, because people have different issues at different stages of their life, or that mightn't even be an issue. They might be just stuck, or they might just want to be the best they can be. And they resonate with different experts. So over the recent years, we've brought together a community of experts from all over the world, incredible people who have a body of work around their topic of expertise. So it could be resilience, sleep, confidence. I mean, there's so empowerment, there's so many different topics. And now we have a product. It's an online digital product, because my vision was to get Blisspot out to the world, to as many people as possible, so that people could rest in their natural state of health and happiness, and not having the money to do a big program or spend long periods of times with the psychologist. I wanted people to still be able to have that support. And so that's why we haven't compromised on the quality, but we've bought a product which is accessible. People can tune in to it every day, and easy for them to access. It's all curated. So if they choose a topic that they'd like to grow in, or that they feel that they're stuck in, so say it's relationships or feeling alone, they can get that support they need, and it's served to them every day in a very easy, digestible way.
Yeah, beautiful. I mean, at such a young age, like you said, at the age of 24, you started a business. I mean, that in itself would have brought you on so much personal growth,
So
conflict
much.
management, change management, relationships, you name it. You would have faced all of that at the age of 24 and being like, and then what I love that you said is you learned something and you took it back to your team. It's not like you just kept it to yourself and you were that leader that just wanted to grow, I guess, just for themselves, but you took it back to your team and you're like, you know what, for this business to be successful, for it to achieve the goals it needs, I can't just have this information. I need to share it with the people that are growing this business from, the bottom up. So I love that you shared that with them. And then you went into another business and decided, you know what, that wasn't enough. I'm going to go in again. Yeah, that would have been so much growth. What did you feel was, if you could say one or two things that you learned from that, what was the biggest, lesson with starting your business and growing it and even selling it?
Well, I believe that life is a journey. And even if it is your passion and you love it, which I have, it's not like every day is going to be an easy day. Things do get thrown to you. Like we had a recession, or when I had the food business, everyone would go away on holidays at the same time and you'd have no customers and then you'd have all the customers all at once. So I believe that what I learned through those businesses, it's not about aligning yourself with your true purpose and then every day is going to be a perfect day. It's about, and I continue to learn with this business, it's having a vision and really holding on to that and knowing that if you have the passion for it and it's a good idea, there's a market fit for it, that you just need to keep going. And if your days are overwhelming, it's just taking a step, just taking the next logical step. It's not that everything has to be done today. And what I've learned too, it's not like we get somewhere in life, because I've had many massive highs in my life, really incredibly wonderful things happen to me. But then also bad, or not bad, bad's probably not a good word, but challenging things will happen. Even after you've had the really good time and you think you're living your purpose and you're doing things happen, unexpected things happen. But it's knowing that you always have the tools and it's good to develop a toolbox, I think, for a start. But if you dig deep, you do have that resilience within and you can go and get the answers and support if you need it. And you have a lot within you too. I think as human beings, we are a lot stronger than what we think, That's what I've
100%.
learned.
No, 100%. That's a few learning lessons that you've got there. But you mentioned the key word that I really want to go into, which is resilience. And I know
Mm.
that's a key focus for you and for Bliss Spot, that you go into resilience. What is resilience? And on top of that, what are some top strategies for building resilience as an individual?
I believe resilience is a mindset. It's your mindset. It's not how strong you are or how long you work out at the gym, and it's how you approach the challenge. But it's also, I think, about being real as well with yourself. Like in our ideal state, we accept how we feel, exactly how we are in every moment. That's the epitome of not non-resistance. So if a big challenge comes our way and we feel really upset in that moment, that is okay. Like if somebody passes away, of course you're going to feel angry. You're going to go through those phases of grieving. So it's not about being this stoic person in all situations who maybe even denies things or pushes things down because they don't want to feel those difficult feelings. It's about accepting the situation. So say a big challenge is coming away, you didn't expect it. Initially, you're probably even going to be shocked because that's the body's way of giving you a bit of time to readjust and respond. Then after that, you might feel really angry that it happened to you. You might even feel it's not fair. Then you might feel really sad. And I think once you've worked through those natural emotions that we feel because we're human beings, you then get to the point where you go, your body just takes you on this journey where you're going like, right, how can I deal with this? What can I do? Do I need to sit quietly, and am I going to work out from within what to do? Am I going to, well, ideally you do listen to your intuition, because your intuition is that guiding voice that gives you the path that's exactly right for you. But we need to create spaces and stillness to be able to hear it, which is a challenge, because when we're stressed, if we're not being conscious, our mind can really take over with fear, by saying, oh, I'll never get through this. This is too hard for me.
Yeah.
It's all my fault. Oh, maybe it's bad karma. All these kinds of things.
We've all been through that, haven't we?
Yeah, that's right, because
We've
we're
all been
human.
through that.
And that's fine too. But it's just acknowledging those feelings, and then you'll get into that inner resilience, which is there in all of us. And if you're really sad, there's nothing wrong. In fact, it's completely emotionally healthy to reach out to a friend and say, I'm really sad, come over, or can I come over, or can we go for a coffee? And even that process of talking about it to those people that you trust who are going to hold a nice space for you helps you see it more clearly in your mind. I really couldn't have got through my difficult times without my friends and the support that we have around us. So it's really important to reach out and not feel you're alone. But if you do feel that you're alone and you don't have anybody to reach out to, there is lots of things online that can support you as well. And I think that's really important. But to develop that toolbox, or that daily resilience, which helps us every day in our life, or that resilient mindset, because it is all about our mindset, practicing things like meditation is really helpful. That's just one way to do it, or walking meditation, as we've talked about a little bit. But even if for you, it might be just coming home at the end of the day and sitting in a chair for 10 minutes and just being still and letting things process and see what comes to you. I'm a big believer myself in a morning ritual. So every single morning I meditate. I have specific practices that help me tap into my center, that stillness within, and that sets my day up right. I often listen to guided meditations. I also have a ritual. I go on a beautiful walk with my dog, and if I'm unsure of something, I ask myself a question at the beginning of the walk, and then I don't think about it, but I do practice being mindful while I'm walking. I focus on my breath and connecting my feet on the ground. I was lucky enough to go to Peru. Oh my goodness, it was like 25 years ago now. But when I was there was all these beautiful guides that we did all these spiritual practices with. And when they were walking on the mountains, I'd never really thought about it before till I was there, because it was so pronounced. Every step they took, it was like this. It was like they were kissing the earth.
Wow.
It was so mindful, and they just so connected. That's all I can describe. So
that would have been an amazing experience. My gosh, going to Peru. I think you said with Wayne, is that right?
Wayne Dyer. Yeah, that's right. And his family were there, or four of his children. So that was very, very special. And we did the spiritual practices. Well, it was quite a long tour around Peru, but a lot of them were done up at Machu Picchu. So this is where the guides were taking us. And I try to bring that into my daily life. So when I'm walking, we often are in our heads thinking. So we're sort of like this, and all that energy's up. We're not tapping into that strength or that inner knowing while we're doing that. So when we walk, or I do my walking meditation, I practice just each step. I like kissing the ground, feeling really supported, really grounded. And then by the end of the walk, usually the answer will come to you. And it's true. It's a true answer from your intuition, because it's coming from within, not your mind or that fearful place. So I do believe it's important to develop practices. It's like cleaning your teeth. If you want to have lovely, clean teeth, you need to clean them twice a day. That's just what you have to do. If you want to be fit, you do need to do some form of exercise, whatever that may be. If you want to have good chemistry in your body, you need to eat cleanly, beautiful food that nourishes you and supports you. It's the same for your mind and your emotions. If you want to have a nice, clear mind, you want to be the master of your emotions rather than just taking over and putting you into a fight or flight response. We need practices and rituals, because otherwise our mind will take over and it will be the master of us. And then we find ourselves thinking things we don't want about ourselves, about other people, getting in situations we don't want, living our life in more of an unconscious way. But I would say it's a skill and a practice, but anybody can do it. We all have wisdom within us. We all have strength within us. Nobody's more special than any other person on the planet with that. But if we feel, even I feel, if you feel quite connected with that, I know from myself, Wayne Dyer taught us manifesting meditation years ago. And I did that and it worked so well. But then if I stop doing it, things stop. So my point is, with your mind and developing that strong, resilient mind, it's not something you just do once or you get from a retreat once. It's a daily practice. And the more you do it, the better it becomes. The more aware you become, the more in tune you become. The more you can see things when you're with other people, you're just more present, more empathetic, more compassionate. So I'm a big advocate for resilience, but also those other beautiful qualities I mentioned of doing the work. Nobody can do it for you to become the master of your mind, to take that time to tap into your stillness. And when we practice it, ideally first thing in the morning, I believe, because we have a little window when we wake up of about 15 minutes or so when we're quite clear. We're in between the sleepy and waking state. And if we sort of jump in there then before our mind starts to think, oh my God, I don't know how I'm going to get through today. I've got so much to do on my shopping list, this, that, and the other. But if we go, no mind, you just sit over here for a minute and rest. This is how I'm going to set up my day. I'm going to breathe consciously. I'm going to be still and aware. I'm going to tell myself that I can handle whatever challenges come my way. And being really proactive in that process, it makes a huge difference, not only to your day, but your whole life overall.
Yeah, 100%. And I love that you clarified the meaning of resilience, because when we think about resilience, like you mentioned earlier, we think about those individuals that are just pushing through things, not stopping, just actioning head first, thinking with their mind. But I love your explanation of resilience where you said stillness. Like you kept mentioning the word stillness, and you said that that's absolutely key, to stop, be still, and not allow that whole energy to go up into the headspace, and allowing it, pushing it back down into the body, and allowing your intuition to come through. And walking meditation, or even the manifesting meditation that you said that you've been taught by Wayne, is absolutely amazing to be able to go back into ourselves and be like, okay, I'm still now. I'm practicing this on a daily, because as you said, if you stop, it's like it kind of, everything just stops. You need to keep doing it on a daily to push through. I think that is also a key for resilience, because no matter what the outside throws at us, we're able to be still, and we're able to reflect and push, I wouldn't say push through, but feel what we're feeling, and be in this meditation space so we can touch base with us. And I love that you said that, before a walk, you ask yourself a question, and then you don't think about it. Because when we ask ourselves our questions, our mind goes, oh, what's the answer to that? I want to problem solve that. How do we make that happen? Boom, 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 boom. But you just said, ask myself the question. But at the end of the walk, you get the answer.
And it's the right answer. It's the truth. It's the real answer. It's not driven by fear. Might even be the answer that you don't want to hear.
Most of the
The
time.
mind takes over, but it is the right answer. So it's definitely worthwhile cultivating those spaces, that time for yourself. When I was younger, in my 20s, and I had that first business, I was quite driven as a person, and I would eat lunch at my desk while I was working. I would just push through and I felt I was getting more done. I was working, working, working.
Yeah.
But what I've realized, and I've sort of, this is it in a nutshell, I feel like the down times that we take make the doing times better. So me taking that hour in the morning to do all my practices, my meditating, walking, exercise, all of that makes the rest of my day better. I make better decisions, so it actually saves time. And then if I have, 5-10 minute breaks during the day, a proper half an hour for lunch, that all makes my day better because we could actually do a whole session just on this. But if we let our energy drop because we just keep working, 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 it's really hard for us to sleep because we've got ourselves into so exhausted by the end of the day. And the same in the day. But if we just take those little breaks, we maintain our energy levels, eating good food. And so at the end of the day, it's easier to sleep. But everything just becomes easier. So what I realized the hard way through all my many mistakes is that by taking that time for ourselves to rest, those down times, it actually makes everything else better. It's like there's a Zen saying, if you don't have time to meditate, you need to meditate for an hour a day. Because it's just a different way of approaching things, but it's a lot more solid and sustainable. And what you said is so true, Mihaela. If people don't feel their feelings, people think of resilience as being stoic and getting through it no matter what, you are going to get through it.
Yep.
And you're just going to do whatever you have to do. But at the end of the crisis, you then collapse because your body's been going, oh my gosh, you've just pushed me so hard, way beyond my limits. You've been running on adrenaline and cortisol, most likely, which also put you in more of a fight or flight situation and less able to handle the stressful situation. Whereas if you're in your natural state, and you felt your feelings, it takes a lot of energy to push down feelings. So if something happens, it's really stressful or very challenging, and you feel really upset, you might even feel like, oh my gosh, everything's just totally out of control. And rather than admitting that, you say, oh, don't be stupid. I've got to be strong. I've got to get through it. For you to push down those feelings, it takes a lot of energy. And that's why you collapse at the end. But if you just felt the feelings, go, well, actually, it's normal for me to be overwhelmed. It's being kind to yourself. This is a really big thing for me. Actually, I feel really sad. And you can feel it, you can observe them, or you can cry. Tears are so healing. They're so beautiful. It's like your soul releasing and letting go. That's why you often feel better after you've had a good cry, because you've been just holding it all in. But if you can just go with what you feel, because you might feel sad, you might feel angry, but that doesn't mean you're an angry person or a sad person. And you're not going to get stuck in it. I think a lot of people are scared of their feelings. They don't want to feel their feelings. And especially the big ones like anger, disappointment, hurt, because to be honest, they aren't that comfortable to feel. Nobody likes to feel those things ideally. We all want to feel happy and joy. But our body will flow much better, and it gets us into our natural states of bliss if we accept all of our feelings just as they are. Let them be. If you feel angry, there's lots of healthy ways to express your anger, not at another person.
100%.
Your anger, your power's in your anger. It lets you know that boundaries have been crossed, or your feelings are just there to give you information about yourself. So a big part of resilience, I believe, healthy resilience, is feeling those feelings. And once you've felt them, it's like your body goes, oh, thank you for acknowledging it. You know how good it feels when somebody validates you and acknowledges you? So the body goes, oh, thank you for acknowledging me. Now we'll get to
100%.
work and we'll sort this thing out. Yeah.
And so interesting that you said it. I've never even thought about it, that it takes so much energy to suppress these feelings, because you might be having a work meeting, or you might be talking to a family member or something along those lines, and then this feeling might come up and you're like, no, I can't feel this now. I don't have, most of the time the tagline is, I don't have time for this. I don't have time for that feeling. I don't have time to cry. I don't have time to be angry. I don't have time to have compassion. And you just suppress it, and then you push through at work, or you push through, being a mum or whatever you're doing, you push through that. But that takes energy, like you said. That takes energy to suppress it. And if we just went and said, okay, what information is my body giving me right now? Why is this anger coming up? And if you question, like, how powerful is that?
So powerful, because when you think about it, holding your emotions down is like holding a giant beach ball underwater. That takes a lot of energy. And your emotions want to be felt. But I think you made a good point. You might be with a family member, or you might you might be in the middle of a boardroom meeting or something like that. And it might not be particularly appropriate to cry right there and then, but your feeling, it'll still stay there, and it will wait till you have a space, and then it will process it. So your feelings will wait till you've got the space. But as you said, it's tuning in and going, I'm curious about that feeling, or why do I feel that way? Anger's a particular one where you might need to express it by yelling when nobody's listening, or writing it in a journal, or punching a pillow or something like that. It's good to get it out of your body. So, but working with your feelings and accepting them right as they are in that exact minute is very powerful in keeping you very healthy and preventing disease. Because when we push them down, not just here and there, that's fine. We can all do that. But for long periods of time, it's very healthy to process your feelings. But if we don't, that's when illness starts to develop, to tell us that we do need to process those feelings. The mind and the body is so connected. Your body is giving you information about yourself all the time, as you said, because it wants you to be healthy and happy, and it will give you clues in terms of feeling unsettled. Or often people don't sleep well because they haven't processed their feelings during the day. So you wake up at night and there they all are, and you feel
100%.
them really strongly. So building in those times during the day, processing them, could really help you a lot with sleep as well.
Yeah, building in those times, absolutely necessary. Like you said, coming back from work or whatever it is that you do, if you volunteer or if you're, a parent, and just putting in that time, that 5-10 minutes, and being like, okay, this morning anger came up. I didn't have time to express it. And I feel it's beautiful to talk to yourself and say, look, I acknowledge that you were angry, and I guess I apologize for not giving you a safe space to express it. But now I feel like I'm in a safe space now. I'm able to express my anger. What are you saying to me? What can I do? What do you need from me? How beautiful is that, to talk to yourself like that and put some time aside and be like, what do you need from me right now? Like, even just saying, I just got goosebumps everywhere. It's like, what do you need from me right now? What did you need in that time from me? How beautiful will that be? I'm going to put that in my calendar. 5 minutes to just talk to myself.
It's so beautiful. I love that. I think it is very healthy. And you can ask yourself, it's also very powerful on the vein that you were talking about, that you could say, what are you trying to tell me right now?
Yeah.
What are you trying to tell me? And there's always a message for you. And I think talking to yourself is really, really healthy. I'm so glad you brought that up, because when we were young, not blaming anybody, I think parents and guardians always do the absolute best that they can with the skills
100%.
that they have. And even if they're a fantastic parent, they're not always going to get your needs right all the time, because how can they? It's very hard to be totally doing everything perfectly all the time. In fact, it's impossible. So we often grow up into adults with unmet needs, thinking, oh, people didn't talk to me like I would have liked them to. They didn't
Yeah.
validate me. They didn't endorse me. They didn't see me. They didn't hear me, or didn't value me. But the thing is, as an adult, you have always got power, because you can be that wise, kind voice to yourself. And in fact, it's better because you know exactly what you want. You know exactly what you need more than anybody else on the planet. So talking to yourself as you wished that you were talked to in various situations. Even your boss mightn't say exactly, but exactly in the way you'd like to hear it, but you can say it to yourself, like, well done, Mihaela. I've done a great job today. Wow, you did that well. Like you can really say that to yourself, and it takes the pressure off everybody because you're not
100%.
looking for other people to fill those unmet needs or those energetic holes that we have. And in fact, over time, you can actually repair your own energy system so you feel full and strong and vibrant. That's true resilience every day because you've done the work on yourself. And talking to yourself, I love it that you've mentioned that, is such a powerful tool, so powerful, because you can do that in a conscious way. Because a lot of us, that's why doing personal growth work, I think, is really important. We'll talk to ourselves unconsciously, going, oh, didn't do that very
Yeah,
well.
we're really good at
Done
talking to
that
ourselves in a bad way. We
that's
are, because when things don't happen, we go, oh, that was a shit idea, Mihaela. Or you
yeah,
could have done better. Or why did you say that? Or why did you action that? So we're really good at talking to us. We actually all do talk to ourselves in a negative manner. So imagine if we just balanced it. Imagine just balancing that and putting the positive in there. And then even going above, oh my gosh, like I can just feel the change and the change of atmosphere, the change of energy. And then your body and your mind wants to work with you. I mean, imagine talking to a friend or a colleague or an employee and being like, you're shit, you're not doing things, like you're not going to get the most out of them. But if you say you're doing an amazing job, you're doing so good, I know you're trying, you didn't hit the spot, but I know that you're trying. What a difference.
absolutely. It's so true. And it's so powerful because it's free. Anyone can do it anytime, anywhere. Yeah, it is a great tool. But there is a bit of a trick because our mind's quite sneaky and powerful, and unchecked, it can really do a number on people. It can speak to people in a very negative manner, especially if they've been brought up hearing negative messages over. It just becomes a natural way of thinking. So just so that people do understand to be kind to themselves, this is a very simple concept, talking to yourself kindly, but it's often not easy to do because you're working against your own conditioning. So just being kind to yourself on that process. And if you do hear yourself speaking negatively to yourself, but you've got the gift that we've got in all of this is awareness. And that's something we
Yes.
can grow like a plant. So if you hear yourself speaking to yourself, you catch yourself. And usually if you don't feel very good, or there's like a disturbance in your energy field, or even if you're ill, things like that, you're just emotionally not feeling quite right, a very good question to ask yourself is, what am I thinking now? And so chances are you'll catch yourself with a limiting belief or some self-talk that's not working for yourself. So again, great opportunity to be kind to yourself, but that's interesting, but you can make a choice around it and go, oh, thank you, mind. That's your opinion, but I know that's not true. Actually, I've done a great job. Even if it wasn't as perfect as I would have liked, there's always next time. I'm learning and growing every day. There's so many nice things you can say to yourself. So it's just catching yourself and growing in that awareness. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're dealing with a bit of conflict management right there with yourself, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Because we can be tough on ourselves as well. And then that just makes it worse. Whereas seeing it, well, you could even congratulate yourself for catching
Yeah.
yourself in the first place. Go, oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's so good that I'm aware of that now. Because now we can't make positive change of things we're not aware of. But when we're aware
100%.
of them, we can.
100%. And that goes all back to what you said, the silence, the
Mm,
stillness,
that's it.
that allows us to connect. And I know a lot of people listening might be like, but Mihaela and Deborah, it's just the time. I literally don't have the time. And that goes back to what you said about pushing and pushing and pushing and reaching burnout, right? Where your body, your mind, your energy, your whole being just goes,
Mm,
I can't anymore. I can't. And then it goes back to what you said. If we don't express our emotions, including anger, one of the big ones, disease arises. And that's when we're burnt out, and that's when it makes us stop. So wouldn't we want to choose when to stop instead of it choosing for us to stop?
I love it that you've asked that question. Well, I was in my 20s, as I've already mentioned, I had my own business and I pushed past the limits of my body all the time. Working, I had a design business, so it was full of deadlines, and we did big things like
I
annual
can
reports, and
imagine.
they had to be at the printers. So it was quite, and we had 26 people, so a reasonably big team, like 100 projects on the studio at any time. So a lot of moving parts. I used to work long hours, weekends, not listening to my body, and I did get glandular fever. And then I just had to stop for 3 weeks. I was just had to stay totally in my bed. So that was a big wake up call to me about listening to my body, feeding myself properly, and getting more balance into my life. But your body just does not wake up one day and it's got burnout. You will have had so many, as I did, I had so many signs and signals that I just completely ignored. And I then had my body's got, the body always wins. It's like nature and the environment. It's so powerful. It's always going to win. We think we can beat it or override it in some way, but we really, really can't. It's like, well, if you're not listening to me, I'm just going to make you sick. And so usually this is important to know in relation to burnout or any other illness that you could be looking at, that there are 3 stages of stress. So for the first stage of stress, your body will give you little symptoms. It'll be like you might get a little headache, or you might feel a bit stressed because you can't find the keys, or might not be sleeping that well. It's going to be little things, and it's like a sign to you that something's not working properly here, and to take a look, work out what it is and make the change. But say if you don't, oh, this is interesting to note too. Human beings are the only people or the only species that do not sleep when they're tired. Like all other animals on the planet, like a dog or a cat, because they're smart. If they're tired, they just have a little rest. But we go, oh, I'm so tired, but I really want to know what happens on the next episode of Netflix. Or, push ourselves.
Yes,
I really
yes.
have to get this job done. It's really important. And we have burnout specialists on Bliss Spot, one called Sally McGrath, and she was telling me that it is okay because sometimes we might have a big deadline for a boss, and
Yes.
it is okay to push us. You can't say to that boss, you need it, the whole company's relying on it. Oh, no, I'm sorry, I don't want to get burnout. You can do the job, she was saying, and you can push yourself, but
100%.
then the next weekend, you might just have to have it completely off. You need to make up for it and
I mean,
compensate.
without that mechanism within us, we could die, because essentially if we're tired and we have a tiger chasing us, we need to run. So that's been put into us to survive. But we don't
That's
have to
it.
survive every day, right?
That's it. That's so true. I love that. That's a beautiful way to put it. So in stage 1, we might be really tired, but we're just not, our body might, we might be yawning, which is a really good sign that you're tired, or our eyes might be shutting. Also a really good sign that you need to go to bed, but we might ignore it. We might just because as humans, we do have that power. We can override it. So people go, oh, I've just got headaches, but oh, my mother had headaches. People say all sorts of things about those kinds of things to just excuse it away. And so your body go, oh, okay, you're still not listening to me. So it'll take you into stage 2 stress. And that's where the headaches become migraines. The feeling a little bit anxious, you can't find your keys, becomes a panic attack. It's
Mm,
starting to really, your cold becomes a flu. Things start to become a lot more serious, where you might even have to go and see a doctor at that stage for a migraine or something like that. It's becoming a bit more serious. But sadly, I mean, it even sounds bizarre when we're saying it, people still do not listen. They don't listen. And again, they will say things, blame it on other things. They do not listen to their body. And then your body
no.
takes you into stage 3 stress, where it's getting a lot more serious, where you might be getting arthritis, or you might be getting a lot of people in the older age have hip problems, and your hips are very powerful, but you will have a lot of warning signs before you have to have a hip operation. Humans carry a lot of emotions, repressed emotions in their hips and their jaw. So if you're not processed, your body wants you to feel every emotion and process it and let it go. All just that, like a constant flow. That's when you're in the flow when
Yes.
that's happening. It's not about being happy every single minute. It's about flowing with life. So if you're not doing that and you're suppressing those emotions down, like stage one, for example, you might absolutely hate your job. You're mismatched to your job. It's not a good job for you. So your body will give you little headaches every time you go to work because you're like, and then you go, oh no, I've got to do the job. I've got to pay the mortgage. I'm not minimizing those things, but your body be saying, well, yes, you do have to, and you mightn't be able to change your job today, but at least start making a plan. Start looking, getting a plan, start looking around. But if you just completely ignore it, feel trapped, then you might, start to get the migraines. And then if you're in a situation that's not a good fit for you because your soul wants you to be well and happy, including doing work that you love, it will amp it up until then people in stage 3 get cancer, arthritis, autoimmune diseases, and they can all be fixed in many cases, but it's harder. And it's like in conflict resolution, we teach always deal with things when they're small because they're so much easier to fix. And it's the same with your health and happiness. And so meditation, we've sort of gone around a big loop here, is a powerful tool. You can tune into your body every day and see how you're feeling. And you can even do it a few times throughout the day, or you don't even have to be meditating to go, as you said, oh, I feel anger. What's that anger trying to tell me? Oh, a boundary's been crossed there. Okay, I need to address that. Is that me? Is it them? Let me see. And
Wow.
so you can do you can care for yourself so well all the time if you tune in. Yeah.
That's the resilience, but that's also emotional intelligence, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
To be able to stop and reflect. And I like that you said that our body's like a machine. It's like something comes up. It's like, okay, express it. Don't suppress it. Express it. Deal with it. Move on. You don't identify with it. Like you said, I think earlier in the podcast, is being identifying with it. It's like, no, just because I have anger does not mean I'm an angry person. Just because I cry doesn't mean I'm depressed or I'm sad. It's all those things that come up. It's like, no, this is something that's come up. My body's brought it up. Now I just need to express it and let it go. Understand it, ask the questions and let it go. But if we go backwards and it comes up and we suppress it, and it comes up and we suppress it, and it comes up and suppress it, you get things like, you got glandular fever, you have to take 3 weeks off work. For some people, taking 3 weeks off work or taking 3 weeks of being in life, being involved in a community is a huge impact physically, emotionally, mentally, even some aspects spiritually. It can draw us back months. Which is crazy when we actually think about it. And if we just stop 5 minutes a day, what a difference that could make, and just be in pure stillness.
That's right. And it can even help you if you're really in tune with your body and what it's telling you, can help you lead a happy old age, as well, which I think is a wonderful gift to ourselves. Just by taking that time. And I think something that you said there, which I think is so true, is feeling the emotion and expressing it. But I put in even another step there, like feeling the emotion, processing it first, and then expressing it. Because sometimes, and usually the emotional charge you have is indicative of if it's something that belongs to now or something unresolved from the past, one of those old suppressed feelings that we all have them, I have them, we all have them from the past. If you're triggered by something that somebody says, it could be them, absolutely. But if it's a deep trigger, you sort of do know the difference. It's usually something from the past that's unresolved, and your body's saying to you, it's a gift to you, a gift in strange wrapping paper, that right here and now, this has come up for you because you have the strength and the ability and the support to process it. So for some people, they've suppressed big traumas for 50 years or 40 years. So there'll be a lot of energy around it. And something that might be something you don't want to try to process by yourself. I
love that you said that. Yes.
Yeah, you
100%.
need to go and get
100%.
support. Yeah. You need to go and get the proper support for big traumas you do, because you need the love and the support to guide
safe space, 100%.
A safe space, absolutely. But it would be the sort of thing, if you're constantly reacting to the same thing in a way that's disproportionate to the event, that's probably a sign that work needs to be done.
But
And
usually when that happens, you suppress it even more because the outcome is a lot bigger than what the scenario happens. So everyone outside of you is like, why are you reacting so big over
that's
something
right.
small? So you suppress it even more and you think, oh my God, there's something wrong with me. I shouldn't be doing this. Why am I reacting so largely to a minute or so-called what everyone else sees a minute scenario? But in that sense, it's actually bigger. It's a lot bigger what you're saying.
And again, don't dismiss it because it's come up and you don't feel that way for no reason. Your feelings are there to teach you something about yourself. So if it's got a lot of energy around it, a lot of energy, chances are, that some healing work needs to be done. And the beautiful thing is that when you go and heal a trauma, you will release so much energy in your body. You'll prevent yourself from long-term illness because that emotion or that your body wants to flow, as I've said. So it's got old repressed emotions. It's not flowing. But once you bring it out and heal it in that very safe space, and a good therapist also would ideally give you life skills to deal with reactions. If you're feeling like that, just stop, take a pause, take a breath. Which brings me to the point that when you have a big emotion come up like anger, you can ask yourself, what is this emotion trying to tell me? But the other thing you can even do, because sometimes I do that, but sometimes it can be good. Sometimes it can put you a bit into your thinking brain. You can just breathe into it. Just breathe into the emotion, give it lots of space. Usually there'll be quite a bit of resistance around that because once you're breathing, you're helping to unstick the emotion. You're starting to get it back into the flow again. So take some beautiful deep breaths. Underneath anger is pretty much always sadness. So it's quite normal that you might feel angry, and then if it's an old emotion, and then you might feel some sadness. But as we said, it's good to do it in a safe, supported space, and then you get the skills yourself, and then you can just use therapy as a support if ever you need it. But it'll help in very many ways.
100%. No, I love that. I love that we unpacked resiliencies. I love that we unpacked burnout. I love that we unpacked so many things. And I mean, throughout the whole way, you've provided so many tools how to build resilience. I mean, to summarize it, please add any more that I might talk about. We've spoken about walking meditation. We've spoken about stillness and stopping and putting that into a daily practice. So such as a morning practice, something that means something to you within that first 15 minutes of waking up, as you mentioned, is very powerful. So if possible, putting that time aside, asking yourself questions, seeing a therapist or someone that aligns with your values, your needs, to be able to express it. So these are all ways to build resilience. Did I miss out anything else you want to add in there, Deborah, in regards to building resilience so potentially we avoid burnout and we live the life that we kind of want to live, the life that we deserve?
Yeah, well, I think we've covered a lot of topics, and I think to put it in a nutshell, it's really taking notice of how you feel right now, never minimizing or dismissing it because you feel that way for a reason. If it's a big charge around it, it might be some old emotions that need to be healed. Otherwise, just accept how you feel and let them flow, breathe into them if they feel a little bit stuck, and being present, knowing that you are, and when you process your emotions, it's much easier to be present, and just really knowing that you are strong. You are more resilient than you think you are. People surprise themselves all the time. I've surprised myself how deep you have to dig sometimes in a big crisis or a big challenging time, or even other people around you can be really having a challenging time. And I do believe we're all connected. And when other people are having a challenging time, if you've got the capacity, it's good to be there to support them too, because we're humanity and we're all rising together. So you probably would surprise yourself in how much strength or what a difference you can make by supporting others, not by telling them what to do, but even just listening and being there for them, which allows them to process their emotions as well, have insight, see things more clearly about themselves. So Resilience is something we all have, and if we don't feel resilient, we can cultivate it. I would espouse a lifelong morning ritual and even an evening ritual as well. I myself think of three things that I'm grateful for every single evening before I go to sleep. It's impossible to be grateful and unhappy at the same time. So just make sure that my energy is focused on the things that I really appreciate in my life. And it's easy for us to let ourselves go to sleep thinking about all the things that went wrong, but
Yeah.
also trying to process those emotions before you do go to sleep. So meditation can help with that. Just really letting go, resting into your beautiful body. It's there to support you. We're a lot more supported than we think we are. And just having that focus that we can do it and we can get through things, and allowing the good things to come into our life too.
Yeah, I love that. That's so beautiful, Deborah, that you shared
Mhm.
that with us. And I love that you shared your morning, your night routine with us, something that keeps you going and keeps you at your optimal health and just living the life that you've built and you deserve, and sharing such amazing knowledge with everyone else through Bliss Spot. I love that, you've taken the knowledge and information and, the things that you've learned and are now still passing it on to people. So thank you so much for doing that and being a pioneer in that space. Really appreciate it, and I love the work that you do.
Oh, thank you, Mihaela, for all those kind, beautiful words. I really appreciate it. And it's been so beautiful to be here. And thank you for putting on such a wonderful podcast that gives people the opportunity to get access to these tools, which are much needed at this time when the world's quite unstable in many ways. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Deborah. And I'll put in the show notes all the notes for Bliss Spot and more information how to get in contact with you.
Great.
But thank you so much for joining us on Natural Podcast. And remember that you are pure love, capable of living life to your fullest expression. Information provided here is the opinion of Mihaela and is for information purposes only and does not constitute medical advice. It is not intended to provide medical advice or take the place of medical advice or any current treatment you're undertaking. Consult your own medical professionals for any medical issues that you may be having. This entire disclaimer also applies to any guests or contributors to the Natural Health Podcast. It is advised that you consult your doctor or healthcare professional in relation to any health concerns you may be having. Mihaela does not take responsibility for any health consequences which occur from a person listening, viewing, or reading this content. And in no circumstances shall the Natural Health Podcast, Mihaela, any guests or contributors to the Natural Health Podcast, or any employees, associates, or affiliates of Mihaela be responsible for damages arising from the information provided on the Natural Health Podcast. By listening to this podcast, you agree not to use this podcast as medical advice to treat any medical conditions in either yourself or others. Please note, if you're taking prescription, do not stop your medication or start a new protocol, including but not limited to supplements, diet, lifestyle changes without consulting your doctor or healthcare professional. If you or any person has a medical concern, you should consult with your healthcare provider or seek other professional medical advice. Never disregard professional medical advice or delay in seeking it because of something that you have read or heard on the Natural Podcast or in any linked materials. If you think you may have a medical emergency, call your doctor or emergency services immediately. Neither Mihaela nor the publisher of this content takes responsibility for the possible health consequences of any person or persons reading or listening or following the information in the educational content.